everybody, welcome back to another Spring 2014 Riot Control review. My name is Alain, otherwise known as Hisui, and I'm from ReverseThieves.com as well as the Speakeasy podcast. And this time, I'm looking at Chaika, the Coffin Princess. It is from Studio Bones, and it is streaming on Crunchyroll.com. And for everybody who doesn't know, Riot Controls are usually just shows that I watch with my roommate, out Kate, because for some reason or another she didn't want to watch them. But me and my roommate were like, yeah, let's look at a show that's probably going to stink, but maybe it'll be good. And this time, we subjected ourselves to Chaika, the Coffin Princess. And I've got to say, the shows that we picked this year for the Riot Controls weren't that bad. None of them were really super good. Like, we didn't get another Chinibio, but they were better than we thought they were going to be. And I think Chaika, the Coffin Princess, is probably, of the two that we watched, definitely the stronger, definitely the one we'd give more episodes to. Starts off with this history about how there was this demon king, Gaz, but he dies and his daughter is out in the world. But the story itself starts with Toru finding, this princess of the fallen empire named Chaika in the forest, and she's lost. So he sees that she has nowhere of going, and he's super hungry. So he's like, look, I'll guide you back to the village. All you have to do is buy me food. And after a little bit of haggling and her being understandably a little bit suspicious of some armed man she meets in the woods, they come to an agreement and they get attacked by a deadly unicorn. Which apparently, in this world, unicorns are badass monsters that totally mutilate people with their horns and magic. And he's like, oh well, we tried to run away from the unicorn. Now it's got us trapped. Well, we're host. Pretty much better say your last rites. Because I'm a decent fighter and everything, but I can't take a unicorn. And she's like, well, I've got this magic gun, but it's really slow. So if you can delay the magical unicorn, I can totally obliterate it. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Well, all right, then that's a plan. If you could actually kill it, and it just takes time, I can delay it long enough that you can set this up. I ain't gonna win, but I can buy you time. That I can do. So he basically buys her time, and inside this coffin is this huge gun that takes her a while to assemble, and then fire off, but it just has these super bullets that totally obliterate the deadly unicorn. I think the deadly unicorn is Paul Chapman's personal avatar. Yays, he goes into the city and she buys him his food, and his sister comes and rampages and is like, hey man, you were supposed to meet me for breakfast and a job, and now what the heck? And so he calms her down, and Chaika is like, look, you guys need a job. I can hire you to break into this mansion. And so they break into the mansion, and after, these other group is trying to parlay with them for some item. And they do notice that, it seems not that well guarded for, such an important official with such an important artifact that we want. Something's got to be going on weird here. So I guess with that little bit of hand waving, it isn't totally out of nowhere that because they don't have a lot of guards to get past, but they have to lug around their coffin. And so their mission is harder than it should be, but it's easier to be accomplishable because this guy has not a lot of defenses. And so they split up to find this item, and Toru finds the item, and the guy is like a super magician, and then Akari's sister pops in, and they're doing against him, but he's just, throwing around all these magical swords. And then when Chaika finally gets into the room, he's like, what the what? You're alive! End of episode. So, I don't know. There's things to really like about this series. I really like Chiaki's character design, her kind of black and white kind of gothy lolly type of outfit. I like it. She's an interesting character design. But she has this weird form of speech where like her grammar is all really weird and she always talks like someone who is texting, who's paying by the word. So she's trying to like save, like all she isn't doing is like using, text, AOL speech. But like she tries to always seem to use the minimum amount of words to say anything. It's not exactly baby talk, and it's not like shampoo Chinese stereotype, like bad grammar, but it does give her a weird otherness that I think could be seen as infantilization. I'm not sure that's what is coming off at. I'm not sure that's what the author wants, or you should 100% see it as, but if you viewed it that way, I wouldn't feel you were wrong, or that wasn't a valid interpretation. I just don't think it's totally supposed to be that she's like a total baby that needs to be taken care of. But yeah, it does give her a weird sense of other that does add to her character, but maybe not in a good way. The brother and the sister seem close, but hopefully from what I saw, didn't seem incestuous. I mean, it could go that way. She did seem overly angry that he was having dinner with another woman, but she was also mad that he skipped out on the job, so hesitant. I'm like, this could just be a brother-sister team, that's fine, or this could just be delayed incest creepiness. Like, I'm not gonna judge you bad totally now, but there's a line you could be crossing. And there is this one weird scene where she tries to make bread with her gun and using a heat spell, but she uses it too much and explodes the bread all over the room, and she gets covered in bread dough. And you're like, yeah, that's some clear bread dough thanks to the flame. Why'd you have to do that? The series didn't really have anything that was super creepy. And then, like, that scene was short, but you knew what it was all about. It was basically to have her covered in sticky, semi-liquid substance. And you're like, The combat was pretty good. And, though it's interesting, and I'm fairly certain she's gathering the pieces of her father that have been stolen by these guys who killed him, and they plan to use them for sinister purposes. So, I mean, there's seeds of good things and seeds of things that weren't horrible, but easily could be horrible. I really see how if the series keeps the bad stuff to a minimum, it could be watchable, not necessarily like an easy recommendation, but not a outright rejection. But I do see a lot of places where this could go really bad. And so, I'm like, not the worst thing I've seen, but if you've got other things to watch this season, then watch them instead. But, you could give this one a few episodes, but don't this is going to be my show of the season, because I have a nasty feeling you're going to be disappointed. All right, see you guys next time.